Hi, I'm Kamali, taking you through some of the things people are talking about and some of the stuff they're sharing around the world on Newsfeed today. A viral video exposing America's warped priorities when it comes to guns.
This jacket is a real must.
I don't want you to listen to me. I want you to listen to the scientists. And I want you to unite behind the science. And then I want you to take real action.
Climate activists call out Congress on climate change. A look at some of the best coders Turkey has to offer. And an unusual looking bear in today's Animals Doing Stuff. And at the top of our newsfeed, school shootings in the United States. Sadly, it is highly likely there will be another mass shooting in a school in America in the next year, something that young people there are all too aware of. So a group called Sandy Hook Promise produced an extremely powerful viral video just in time for the start of the new school year.
This year, my mom got me the perfect bag for back to school.
These colorful binders help me stay organized.
These headphones are just what I need for studying.
These new sneakers are just what I need for the new year.
This jacket is a real must-have.
My parents got me the skateboard I wanted. It's pretty cool.
These scissors really come in handy in art class.
These colored pencils too.
These new socks, they can be a real lifesaver.
And I finally got my own phone to stay in touch with my mom.
Now, Sandy Hook Promise comes from the community in Newtown, Connecticut, where a man killed 26 people, 20 of which were children aged 6 and 7. Not even something as horrific as that could make the US change its gun laws. Here are some of the reactions to the video. Alyssa Milano says, "This is not the world we want for our children, and this can't be allowed to be the norm." Kasim Rashid says that the video is powerful and true and that America can do better. This one says that if you're more mad at the video than you are at the children being shot up, you are part of the problem. And Anna Clark writes that her 5-year-old is currently doing active shooter drills at elementary school. And here are some of the facts about guns in the United States. The New England Journal of Medicine says school shootings are the second biggest killer of kids and teenagers after car accidents. The organization Gun Violence Archive says there's been a mass shooting in the US every week since January 2014. Americans own more guns than any other nation, an estimated 390 million in a population of 330 million. And there have been 289 recorded mass shooting incidents in the US this year so far. And it's not just the loss of life which is expensive, it hurts the US economy too. Politicians have just released a report which estimates that gun violence costs $200 billion a year, and that's, as we've said, it affects young people disproportionately, as well as people who live in rural areas, which may be a surprise to some and upends the stereotype that guns are a problem of the inner city. And finally, as an example of how normalized the gun violence situation in the US has become, this hoodie is on sale in the US with the words Sandy Hook on it, the place where those 6- and 7-year-olds were murdered. Okay, let's take a look at some other things that caught our eye on social media. Video of a dark shape floating in the water in a lake in China was briefly described by some as the China's Loch Ness Monster, that mythical beast who lives in a lake in Scotland. And just as that is a hoax, so is this. It's actually a 20-meter-long industrial airbag. And avast ye mateys, pirates off the port bows. It's Talk Like a Pirate Day on Twitter. People be tweeting about pieces of it and all the doubloons they can carry on a galleon in the Spanish Main. Arr. Now, there will be a strike for the climate on Friday by potentially millions of young people all over the world. They're following the examples set by Greta Thunberg, who is in the US ahead of a major climate change summit next week. She and some other young activists took part in a hearing yesterday. Here are 4 of the best bits.
I don't want you to listen to me. I want you to listen to the scientists. And I want you to unite behind the science. And then I want you to take real action.
I can't wait until I'm sitting in your seats to change the climate crisis. You have to use the seats that you have now, because by the time I get there, it's going to be way too late. The good news is that experts agree that there are multiple pathways to decarbonize the United States energy system, and that doing so is both technologically and economically viable and beneficial.
We must also understand the privilege Americans bring into this conversation. Across the globe, those who can most easily adapt to climate change are wealthy and live in developed countries. It's unfair to ask someone to make choices based on sustainability when they're struggling to survive.
Ms. Newberg, let me ask you a question. If you're sailing across the ocean and you're picking up trash along the way, and for every one piece of trash that you pick up, there's a boat right next to you dumping out 5 pieces, how would that make you feel?
Well, first of all, if you use that logic, then I am also dumping a lot of trash in the ocean. And then I would stop dumping my trash in the ocean and tell the other boat to stop dumping their trash in the ocean as well.
And that's the important point here. I think that what we need to be doing is we need to be focusing on the countries that are dumping trash in the ocean.
Did you do absolutely everything in your power to stop the climate crisis when the storms are getting worse and we're seeing all of the effects of the climate crisis? When they ask you, did you do everything? Can you really look them in the eye and say, no, sorry, I couldn't do anything because that country over there didn't do anything, so if they're not going to do it, then I'm not? That is shameful, and that is cowardly.
Another perspective, I am from Sweden, it's a small country, and there it is the same argument. Why should we do anything? Just look at the US, they say. So just so you know, that is being used against you as well.
Now, the Indian government has banned e-cigarettes entirely, just as the US is having a bit of a crisis about their safety. That came as good news for cigarette companies there who saw their share prices go up. Here's Radhika in New Delhi.
India has banned the manufacture, sale, distribution, import and advertisement of e-cigarettes in the country. This is not the first such ban. In fact, 16 states in India had banned e-cigarettes after a health ministry directive last year. The ban there, though, has not been very forceful. So when the fresh announcement came on Wednesday, we saw social media erupting. There are, of course, some people who entirely support the government's decision, like this particular Twitter user who said that the decision is a major step towards protecting our children from falling prey to the vice and ensuring healthy living. But the debate really has been around why not ban cigarettes or smoking. There are an estimated 900,000 deaths in India due to tobacco-related illnesses every year. And India is also home to the largest number of smokers in the world at about 110 million. So here are people asking why Indian government is not worried about deaths because of smoking and why not to put ban on smoking in India. Another user actually made this one sarcastic, said deaths in India because of tobacco 1 million, deaths in India because of e-cigarettes 0. Government, the evidence is clear, let us ban e-cigarettes. Now, there have been conspiracy theories floating online as well. We saw shares of cigarette makers really jumping up after the announcement by the finance minister. And here was one Twitter user who actually said, by banning e-cigarettes, the BJP for India government wasn't looking out for our health, it was safeguarding its own profits. Now, the reference here is to a few government entities who actually hold stake in a major cigarette maker in the country. On the ground, though, we have seen lobbyists for tobacco growers appealing to the government and saying that the ban will adversely affect farmers. Those pleas so far have gone up in smoke.
And we will keep spinning around the world now for some other stories you need to know this Thursday. The world's most influential influencers on things like Instagram use their platform to sell products. Now Instagram is banning people under the age of 18 from seeing posts for products which promote weight loss or cosmetic surgery. The Kardashians sell a product called Fit Tea, which is essentially a laxative. Some products will be banned from the app entirely because they've been found not to work. The South African president has held a special sitting of the country's parliament to discuss violence against women. As many as 100 rapes are reported there every day, and it said a woman is killed every 3 hours. This is what the president had to say.
The time comes in the life of a nation where there remains two choices: to submit or to fight. We are not a nation that submits. We have come too far to surrender to intolerance, to misogyny, and to violence.
The website ProPublica says that some medical records of more than 5 million Americans are sitting unprotected on the internet. The data includes X-rays, CT scans, and MRIs. ProPublica says that anyone with easily learned skills could access the data. France has said it has no plans to change its decision on not granting Edward Snowden asylum. Snowden stole documents from the US security forces which revealed how much they were spying on people. He then published them on the internet. He's been hiding in Russia since, but now after publishing a new book, he wants to move. He is still wanted by people in the US. Now, this footage was filmed from the cockpit of a US Navy jet. It shows the moment the pilot encountered what is now called unidentified aerial phenomena, UAP, what used to be called unidentified flying objects, UFOs. And the Navy has now confirmed this in fact is a UAP. The footage was published a couple of years ago by the New York Times and by a website called To the Stars Academy of Arts and Science, which was founded by the guy from the band Blink-182. Well, now for a look at a skill which is becoming increasingly valuable in the digital age: coding. Here's Harris in Istanbul.
Programming is one of the most valued skills in the job market nowadays. More and more things around us require it, like the air conditioning we use or our mobile phones. It's everywhere. So today I'm here with some of the Turkey's best programming students to talk about the importance of coding.
In the beginning, I chose it because it's fun. I like coding. I started coding when I was in high school. After that, I see I can use programming to solve some challenge in real life.
In daily life, I sometimes try to solve my problems or some of my friends' problems with programming. For example, I am currently working on a note management system for a university. I mostly want to do things directly related to daily life.
I liked the coding. I liked everything about the computer, for example, artificial intelligence. I would like to struggle with it, work on it, for example, in the future. I want to be beneficial for the world. I'm not scared of working on this area.
I'm happy when I'm trying to solve out how a game is coded, or I just try to understand how they can code these games.
I'm living with friends at home. So I'm trying to kind of make a small system, home system, you know, cleaning and other stuff, you know, at home, like managing the home. It has a really high potential. Especially it is available in every major, like you can work in basically whatever you like. You like design, you work in design. You like, I don't know, biology, you work with biology. You know, whatever you like. You like with security, you work with security. It is everywhere.
If you can solve that problem, you can make life easier for a human. For example, the hospital automatization problems. I change the data in hospitals. I make them pure and I make them achievable for everyone.
And last up, we have an animal doing stuff, and it's a rare sighting of something we on the Newsfeed team haven't seen before. This is a grey panda, like the black and white bits ran in the wash. She's called Jigzao and was born in June in southwestern China. And we're told she is likely to change shade in about 6 months' time. And you can say what you like. There's a cute bear. That is all from the Newsfeed team. Reach out to me with your questions, comments, complaints, and suggestions. You'll find me at Kamali Melbourne. You'll find us 24/7 on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to our channel and follow me on Twitter. Follow, subscribe, and add, and I will see you again tomorrow.